Beep, 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 beep. Mm. Beep, 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 Jester. I know that they forecast, I saw on the meteorological dooberist, right, that they're forecasting for really cold weather. Please don't. I don't want to give these electricity bastards any more of my money, but apparently they have a forecast for bad weather. But I think today we've got a touch of the spring in the air because, as you can see, we have this sort of Hollywood film noir effect going on. Look at it. It's wonderful this morning. So, enough of that blather. It's Sunday. Is it me or is something going on in Glasgow? It's the fury of the furries, isn't it? So yeah, there's something going on in Glasgow. So I came across something that I thought, just before I start rabbiting on about what I actually want to talk about, I don't know where it's come from. It's like a snippet that somebody sent me about today's protest, because obviously we've got Posey up there and also the warrior teachers are going, many of them, and they're expecting resistance, from the Black Pampers, those extremist Antifa loons, and also people dressed up in fursuits. If you push them over, they ain't getting up. just a tip. Don't do it. Whatever you do, don't push them over, because if you push them over, they ain't getting up. Oh dear. Here, see. Right. So, wherever this came from, and it's obviously come from some idiot document, right? Our hope is that the whole of Glasgow, would come together and stand up against Posey Parker and her followers. The whole of Glasgow's going to get together to have a pop at some women talking about reality, right? This is the delusional is great in this one, but Sunday's events prompts fear along with hope. The cabaret spokesman, this is a group called Cabaret Against, Reality or something. I don't know, a bunch of nutters. The cabaret spokesperson said supporters online have already been targeted and threatened by Parker's supporters. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Right? This time the group have arranged for this is the bit that gets me, for mental health support and a well-being space where counter-protesters can find a seat, a hot drink, a chat and a biscuit. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? It's going to change the world, aren't they? Going to change the world. They're insane, obviously, right? So I just couldn't believe it. Right, then I've got someone else as well here that I found while I was digging around, which is to do with costumes and clothings on the day, right? Use common sense in public areas. If you have to ask or think twice about doing something in public, take it to your room. This is furry. This is like furry rules. It's not particularly for Sunday. I think it's furry rules in general. While collars may be worn discreetly, this is like, those guys that do the whole doggy thing. Blatant displays of bondage or fetish clothing may result in people escorting you away from public areas. So these are the rules for some event or other. This is the same people that are coming to do the protesting, I think. We ask that you always wear at least a t-shirt, shorts and shoes in public areas. And then they have to be reminded, what? Public exposure of genitalia, buttocks or breasts is not permitted. This is the type of people that are going to be there, right? Anatomically correct costumes, furry or otherwise, must be clothed as above. Which is, if you've got a furry costume and you've stitched a knob on it, make sure your furry costume's wearing a pair of pants. How do these people expect to get taken seriously? And they're there going, we're worried somebody's going to get hurt. You're already hurt. You're already mad as a box of masturbating frogs because you're all porn-addled. That's what's happened to you. It's like, well, what should we do today? Yep, let's go and let's go and bother a bunch of women dressed in fetish gear. Oh, could it be more misogynistic? It's just insane. But this is how these folk are, right? So that's the first thing. So to all the women and all the men who are going to Glasgow, and it mostly be women, but I know there's some gay men going to the warrior teachers going to Glasgow, to everybody that's going to be there in order to give a poke in the eye to this ridiculous nonsense. Good luck, right? Good luck. Be well, and make sure that you have a fantastic time. And under no circumstances should you push a furry over because they won't be able to get up. Good luck to those in Glasgow. I wish you well. I imagine I'll be getting a running commentary from some of my warrior teachers today, so I'll be sat here with a cup of tea reading that. And I do hope that it brings on some thought from people in Glasgow and around the country, as you point out again what it's necessary to point out. So that's sort of like the first hello. It's only a short one. A bloody Sunday. I need a break. But we have had a very interesting piece of news in regards to the situation with the Feminist Society in Bristol. Now, this was Raquel Rosario Sanchez, who was a feminist campaigner and who took a court case against the Bristol Students' Union. There's been a situation where this has changed, so I wanted to let you know about this one. They caused anger. This is going back a while, I think a couple of years, when they disciplined a women's talkback group, WTB, which is a feminist group, for excluding male-born trans women and talks on rape and sexual assault. Right? The society had hosted women-only meetings at the University of Bristol to discuss male violence and argue that the presence of trans women would make attendees fearful of speaking out. But what some bloody wokester twat actually complained about that. And following an investigation in February 21, and here's the important bit coming, Bristol Students' Union demanded that Raquel Rosario Sanchez, its president, stand down before banning her from leadership posts for 2 years and ordering, here it comes, equality, diversity and inclusion course for the society. Mau, you will be re-educated in the ways of the Borg. In response, 4 members took legal action, arguing in Bristol's county court papers that Bristol Student Union had denied them their rights under the Equality Act, discriminated against claimants, subjected them to detriments and treated them less favorably, harassed and victimised them because of their want to have a woman-only space where they could discuss women's issues. Well, apparently Bristol Students' Union is back down. Good, you bunch of wibblers. They've admitted that affiliated clubs and societies may lawfully offer single-sex spaces and be constituted as single-sex associations under the Equality Act. And they've had to sort out an out-of-court settlement. Make them hurt. That's where you hit them. In the pocket. It's got a sting, you know. And they confirmed that it understands that Women Talk Back was seeking to operate in the way they were, which was as a female-only space. And Women Talk Back could, should they wish to do so, reapply for affiliation to the union. Yeah, just don't. Right. Bristol Students' Union statement added, in doing so, Women Talk Back would set out their constitution, in their constitution the Equality Act 2010 definition of woman being a female of any age instead of the bylaws definition, right? Which was all who self-define as women. This is the interesting bit here. Essentially what it means is that within universities, they now have single-sex societies, such as the one that Women Talk About are putting together, will now be a thing. That's it, and they can't do anything about it. They must be tamping. That's a word. I haven't said that for years. Oh, they be tamping. Tamping they be. So they'll be absolutely fuming because they can't get men in women's societies. Right. There you go. You know, honest to goodness, women like Raquel inspire me, right? Okay, it's extraordinary. I mean, they've done what I would call strung them up by their short girlies and spanked their bottom hard as they were birthed into reality. Off you pop, you nutters. Okay, so that's that particular thing, right? And then I've been having a whinge, and will continue to have a whinge, because I think this might be my new hobby horse at the moment. I had a conversation with the younglings last night about this while watching Lawrence of Arabia. With a rum-ti-tum-ti-tum, I'm the man who broke the bank at Monte Carlo. God, Peter O'Toole was a looker, wasn't he? Anyway, so what have we got in the Telegraphs? Very interesting. I got into a slight kerfuffle when I said I was sick to death of the mental health sales drive that's going on. And lo and behold, we have an example of why I think there's a mental health sales drive going on, which could be quite useful for people to consider, particularly because I work with a number of psychologists on the Warrior to Warrior Teacher program, you know, and they know that I'm a bit when it comes to all this. So there's a great article by Blathnod Corliss, great name, Blathnod Corliss, in the Telegraph, which I'm going to put the link in the Dubras as usual. And just very quickly, just to give you an idea, because you can read the thing yourself. Workers who avoid redundancy need survivor guilt support. Holy shit, you know? Report suggests companies should not congratulate people on still having a job to avoid adding to guilty feelings. Workers who avoid layoffs need survivor guilt support, HR experts have suggested. Russell HR consulting firm based in Milton Keynes says, practical support for remaining employees can help to reduce negative responses. Often this takes the form of regular discussions with employees on a one-to-one basis and the organisation of extra training to enable survivors to perform effectively. Counselling may be an option for those employees who are suffering from stress. This research that mentioned you should do this was done by Myers-Briggs. Now you'll notice, strange enough, in the Dubras, not the Dubras, the explains who they are profile. In the profile of many nutters, right, and people that aren't nutters but just don't know, they have that Myers-Briggs thing, INTJ or FU wherever, right? That says this is my personality. I've ticked a box and I've got a personality. Those things, right? The same people have done this report. Okay, can you just using the word survivors to describe somebody who's been through a redundancy process is absolutely disgusting. It's hyperbole. I've said before about hyperbole, isn't it? Where people go, oh, it's amazing. You say, oh, I've got a new t-shirt. Oh, it's amazing. When in fact, there's nothing new amazing about a new t-shirt at all. It's just a new t-shirt. But yet we use that word amazing so much that it actually blunts the word amazing and means nothing. Again, this is a kind of linguistic equity. So what we have here is people using the word survivor to describe those who, in a first world country, which has a level of luxury never before seen on the planet, that they need survivor, survivor counselling. You know what I associate the word survivor with? I mean, it was the day to remember that a few days back. Stop using the words of the ill. Ill-minded and ill-thinking fools of Myers-Briggs. Because that's what they're doing. Survivors. They're trying to elicit in you an emotional state and an emotional response akin to the word survivor, which is a very powerful word, full stop, right? That's feckless and stupid. So, to add fluid? To add fuel, there's the furries again. Right, to add fuel to the fire, they want to make it appear that people who've been through a redundancy process are actually survivors. I'm sick of this shit. When you think about how human beings got here, what we went through to get here, we're so strong it's unbelievable, despite the fact that we're 97% bloated water sacks. We are incredibly strong. I'm sick to death of it. Stop pathologising everything. They're going to put sort of mental health gurus in all schools now. We need to get them out. Get them all out. Every single one of them. Get them out. This mental health sales drive is making our population ill, and we need to do something about it. So there you go. So 3 things today. Yeah. Good luck to those in Glasgow. Oh, yes. Right, the wonderful Rosario and the women down at this Bristol Students' Union Up Yours Club, right, who gave them an Up Yours, right, good, because you ain't going to be able to do it again now, universities. The grift is up, good people, the dominoes are falling. And then finally, the mental health sales drive and its most blatant and obvious so far sales tactic, which is to make people think that those who've been through a redundancy process have got the same problem as those that we would see as survivors. What's going on, eh? World's gone mad! Anyway, that's enough. It's Sunday. Go do things. I'll see you later. Jester out.